right, welcome back to my channel, everyone. Today I finally got myself together enough here to film my 25 priority reads of 2025. I have set a goal for myself to read 50 books this year, but I wanted to go through my top 25 priority reads. So I have my TBR cart here right next to me, and I'm going to be showing you 25 books from my physical TBR cart that are going to be priority reads for me this year. And then I will also talk about some of my most anticipated releases that I know are coming out this year, which I am hoping to purchase and read those as well. Because although I'm showing you 25 today off of my physical TBR cart, I will be buying books throughout the year. Of course, there's just no getting out of that. Because although I'm going to be showing you 25 books off my physical cart that are like priorities for me to get to this year, I still need 25 more books from there to reach my goal of 50. So anyways, let's jump right in. Okay, so we're starting off strong with a series. So I have the entire box set of Throne of Glass, and this is, I don't know if you want to say this is a weakness of mine or what you want to call it, but I tend to just, if somebody recommends a series, I buy the whole thing before, like maybe the smarter thing to do would be to purchase the first book in the series, read it, and then if I like it, go from there. But no, I have a tendency just to buy the whole thing. So here's hoping that I really like this series. And this is 8 books, okay? So 8 books right off the bat is this whole series. Some of the books are hefty in this series. So I don't know. I'm really hoping this is probably going to be a big focus for me in the summer. I have the months of July and August off since I work at a high school, and this seems like a good series, a good set to tackle throughout those summer months, because some of these are large. Okay, a 9th book that I am going to read this year is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This one is a priority for me. I've recently bought this one, and I got it because I've seen multiple people talking about this book and how they were just in tears. Like, I've seen many girls on TikTok sobbing after reading this book or throughout reading this book. I'm not really one to cry when I read books, so I was like, okay, I'll buy it. I will see what the hype is about. We'll give it a go. Okay, for books 10 and 11, I really need to finish the Housemaid series. I read the first one, just The Housemaid, last year, at the beginning of last year, actually, and then went the whole year without picking up this second book. I have the second one, The Housemaid Secrets, here in my physical TBR, and then I still have yet to purchase the third one that comes after this. I would like to read this and then purchase the third one in the series and get those ones done. So that would be 10 and 11. I really liked the first one, so I have high hopes for the rest of this series, and hopefully it doesn't let me down. Okay, for books 12 and 13, I have some romances. So I read Wild Love by Elsie Silver last year and loved it. I loved it. So I'm very excited to also read Wild Eyes. And then I have Twisted Love, which this series is a little controversial. I've seen very mixed reviews. Either people seem to love these books or they hate them. I don't know. This was one where I did restrain myself. I didn't go out and buy the entire series. I bought just this first one, Twisted Love, and I will read this one and then see how that goes. Okay, number 14 is Quicksilver by Callie Hart. This is another larger read, but again, I have seen everybody and their mother falling for this MMC. So I think it's time for me to finally read this book and see what kind of drug Callie Hart is putting in this book. Okay, for books 15 and 16, I have the first book in this duology, The Six of Crows, and then the second one is Crooked Kingdom. So I would like to read both this year. I'm hoping to anyways. I own this one, and then I would have to purchase the second one. I don't know. know, I've seen a lot of book influencers, book content creators that I like and follow have talked about this book, so I'm trusting their recommendations and I'm excited to check this one out. Okay, I think I'm on book 17 by now, and I have Credence by Penelope Douglas, and I heard this one's kind of messed up. I don't know much about it other than I have heard there's some incest possibly going on. Some family members are getting weird in the woods together. I don't know. This is just another one that I have seen so many people talk about how wild it was, so naturally had to add this to my TBR cart so I can check it out for myself. Okay, now this might be the largest book. No, wait, hold on. I need to check. Two of the largest books that I have on my TBR cart. Oh God, this is a big book. So I have When the Moon Hatched by Sarah Parker, and I have Fairytale by Veronica Lancet, and they are both quite large books. This Fairytale is about 763 pages, and the writing is very small. Okay, I don't know if you could tell, but it's very small writing. But I am excited for this one. We'll give you a little preface here. So Fairytale is a mix of gothic, horror, fantasy, and paranormal fiction with a dash of history, but at its core, it's simply a love story. The author literally put in the preface in here that this book is a long journey, almost 1,000 pages. So if you're not a fan of complex narrative threads, lengthy books, or extreme slow burns, then this will not be the book for you. It's also not the book to skim, the author says, as you can find yourself lost in a sea of information. So this might be another like summertime read for me because it seems very dense, packed with a lot of information, but I think all of that gives me really high hopes for it to be a 5-star read. Second largest book I have on my TBR cart, When the Moon Hatched, is 690 pages. So yeah, another big one, but I know this one has dragons in it. I love fantasy books that include dragons, so I'm very excited for this one as well. I've heard this one has a lot of world building. I think some people maybe don't love it if they don't, same thing with Fairytale, they don't love the lengthy, like long haul process, but I'm up for it. I'm up for the journey. And then the second book in this series comes out fall 2025, so fall of this year. If I can at least get this one done this year, that's a win. Okay, and for book 20 on the list, this is a newer purchase. This is the book Heir of Broken Fate. And I recently just came across this author on social media, Mads Rafferty. I follow her on TikTok. If you don't know anything about this book or you haven't seen this author, I'll just read you the description here. So it says, 150 years ago, the Fae race vanished along with their magic and creatures. With the fallen Fae lands, the humans were soon to follow as corruption spread throughout the realm. Heir to the throne, Delilah Covington is forced to watch her people suffer under the simple hands of her father, the king, while she herself suffers his cruel hand. Delilah has longed for change, her prayers going unanswered until she discovers salvation. Fae are alive. In desperation, she flees her home, crosses the border in hopes that the Fae will save her people, yet she isn't the only one who needs help. Caught in a web of lies and riddles, Delilah's only chance at hope is Nox, one of the irritating yet frustratingly charming Fae kings. Together, they'll need to unravel the many mysteries to bring freedom to both their oppressed people or damn them all. So it sounds very interesting, something that sounds like right up my alley. I think Mads Rafferty on her socials mentioned there's like lots of different creatures in here, Fae and humans, and just lots going on. So I think this one will be super interesting, and I believe she has a sequel to this, I think. Okay, books 21, 22, and 23 consist of the Light Lark series. So I own Light Lark and Nightbane, and then Sky Shade is the third one in the series that Alex Asser has wrote. I don't have that one. I went on a whim and just bought the first two. So I will read these and see how that goes. I have heard that movies are in the works for this series. So that is very exciting as well. And I need to get these read before those come out. So for books 24 and 25, I really want to finish up the whole Inheritance Games world, her whole series that she's got going on here, with reading The Grandest Game that I have, and then Games Untold, which that book is already out. I just don't have it yet. And then she's coming out with Glorious Rivals. So I have The Grandest Game, and I want to read this and then get the Games Untold and read that. And then she's coming out with Glorious Rivals later this year. So those are another couple priority reads. I absolutely love anything that Jennifer Lynn Barnes writes. I loved all of the books so far in this whole series. So I very much expect I will also love these last 3 that I read as well. Okay, and then I know I'm going over 25 here, but just to end, I also have the rest of the From Blood and Ash series. Well, I should say I have these ones, and then I know she has some supplemental ones in there as well that kind of coincide and people can and read them. It's a whole thing, but I do have at least the next 3 that come after From Blood and Ash, so I also want to try to make it a priority to finish this series as well. Okay, I have a lot more on my cart that I did not mention, but I would say those are my top 25-ish priority reads. And then just to wrap up this video, I wanted to just touch on a couple of new releases that are coming out this year that I am personally excited for. The first one is The Unworthy by Augustina Bazterrica, I think is how you say her name. She wrote Tender is the Flesh, and I loved that book. It was a horror dystopian read. It was very quick, like it's a short novel, but I am definitely intrigued to read more of this author's work. It was like disturbing, but very compelling at the same time. So I am excited to check this one out. And that one comes out March 4th. Another new release that is actually already out by the time I post this video is Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. I have seen a lot of anticipation for this book, so I think it would be one that I am wanting to try. I actually don't have any Ali Hazelwood books except for Bride. And I did like that one a lot, but I think I'm interested to try out this one because it is intriguing me. Another highly anticipated release for me is A Curse Carved in Bone by Danielle L. Jensen. And this book comes out May 13th this year. I really enjoyed her first book in this series, which was A Fate Inked in Blood. So I will definitely be purchasing that one ASAP as soon as it comes out. As I mentioned earlier in this video, Glorious Rivals comes out by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So that book comes out July 29th. So I am definitely going to be also purchasing that one. And then the last 2 are Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. And the first book in this series was Phantasma, which was a 5-star read for me. Definitely want to continue on reading that series. And that book comes out April 8th. And then I am also very much looking forward to Sarah Oakes' new book, which is This Stays Between Us. The other book that I have by her that I have talked about previously on some of my social accounts is The Resort, and I absolutely loved that book. That book was, I talked about it in my 5-star reads of 2024 video, so you can go check that out if you want, but the twists were twisting in that book. I absolutely loved that, and so she's coming out with this new book on March 6th. So you can be assured I will be purchasing all of these at some point and adding them to my never-ending TBR cart, but it is what it is, okay? If you have read any of the books that I mentioned or talked about already, please let me know what your thoughts were in the comments, and then maybe also let me know what is your most highly anticipated book that you are waiting for that releases this year, or maybe it's not this year, maybe it's next year, but let me know. As always, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video.